So these are my lip products, at least some of them. These are my more traditional bullet lipsticks. These are my liquid lipsticks and stains. We're going to go through both of these categories, and then if we have time, we will take a look at my lip glosses. So we're going to go ahead and start with the bullet lipsticks. The only thing that is missing, I have a Hourglass, one of those skinny refillable stylos. I have the refill in here. This is in I Cherish. Yes, and the other one is a red one, and it is You Inspire. I used it recently and left it in the center console of my car, and the weather outside is nasty. And I have no desire to go out in the nasty weather and get it. So we're going to pretend it's here. Both of these I do enjoy, and I'm going to be keeping both of them. Okay, so I have 4 of these Essence. I'm trying to remember what these are called. Something nude. It's the Essence Nude something lipsticks. I have 4 of these here. I picked up the shade, let's see, Amazing. That's shade number 11. I think this one is my favorite because it has a cooler undertone. I'm going to go ahead and hang on to that one. This is the lipstick in Special. I recently had this in my lip service project pan. I did use it a few times. I can make it work, but it just requires a whole lot of mixology with, you know, different lip liners and glosses on top, just to avoid it really kind of pulling quite warm and a little orangey on my lips, and it looks just a little weird. So I think I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one. This one is in the shade Legendary, which is a more brown shade than either of those first 2. And then we have Loyal, which is actually another pretty warm shade. It's got more pink in it than Legendary does, but I think I'm going to go ahead and keep these 2 in the middle, the brown one and the slightly cooler pink mauvey shade, and I'm going to declutter the others. I really do enjoy the formula of these lipsticks. I think Essence did a fantastic job. It is one of those products, absolutely, where I feel like if you put it in more high-end packaging, you could absolutely pass it off as a more high-end product because the formula really is quite good. Here's one that I have also tried to make work this year in my lip service project. This is by Becca. It's in the shade Mauve. And it doesn't look like it right here, especially next to this one, but this one also pulls a little bit warm on me, and I just don't find it super flattering. So I think I might as well just let go of this one as well. I have 2 crayons by Bite Beauty. I have this one in Glacé, and I really actually quite like that shade. And then I have this one in Chablis. Probably not pronouncing either of those correctly. So of the 2, I definitely prefer this first one because it is more my type of color. The vibrancy and the saturation of this shade here, I have a fair amount of gray in my skin, and so I feel like anything too vibrant, too saturated, really kind of stands out in an unflattering way against my skin tone. So this is not one that I reach for. I like this one quite a bit more. However, both of them at this point are so old that I really need to let both of these go. It is time. Let's take a look at the MAC lipsticks that I have. I don't think I'm going to be letting go of any of these MAC lipsticks, to be honest. I quite like the ones that I have. So I have these 2 in limited edition packaging. This is Laissez-Faire. Really enjoy this one. This is a very nice, cooler nude shade for me. Really enjoy that one. Sorry about that. My phone died and I had to move things a little bit. Okay, where were we at? I think we just looked at Laissez-Faire, which is this one here. It is a cool nude shade that I really do enjoy. I'm going to keep that one. This is Bated Breath, which is a bit deeper, but also has some of those mauvey tones that I really enjoy. You can see the similarity between this one and the Bite Beauty crayon that I'm decluttering. So I'm not too broken up about the Bite Beauty because this one is close enough that I don't think I would need to keep both. Then I have this little mini in the shade Mare, another cool pink that I really enjoy. This one is in a matte formula. You can start to see some of the similarities here. This is Legendary. No, this is Amazing from the Essence line. Very similar to the one from MAC. This one is more matte. This one is more of a satin formula. I'm going to be hanging on to that one as well. Then I have Blankety. This is one I'm not sure about, simply because this is one of the lighter of the nude shades that I have, and it is often too light for me. I do really like the kind of neutral to cool undertone of this shade, however, and it is often useful to have a lighter shade for putting on the center of the lips and making some of these other more deep lipsticks work. So I think I'm going to go ahead and hang on to this one as well. I think this is my newest MAC lipstick. This is in the shade Smoked Purple, and to be perfectly honest, I picked it up purely for the name. I love any lipstick with a bit of purple in it. This is a very blackened purple, however, and so it is not something that I reach for terribly often. However, it is really quite new in my collection, so I think I'm going to hang on to it a little while longer before I decide whether or not it needs to go. I have two lipsticks from Buxom Beauty. The first one is in the shade Influencer. I picked this up at the beginning of the year and was kind of fooled by the swatch on the box, which showed a shade that was significantly more blue leaning than this one is. Again, you can tell this one is somewhat along the lines of what I already like. However, it's similar enough to some of these other shades that I don't know if I need to keep this one as well. It's not something that I reach for super often, and the other one that I have here from Buxom, I think I prefer quite a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and let that one go. This is in the shade Rockstar, and this one, Smoked Purple, and Rockstar are probably the two most purple lipsticks that I have in my collection. I really do like this one quite a bit, and I'm going to go ahead and hang on to it. Next, I have a couple of lipsticks from Bobbi Brown. This is the Nourishing lip color, which is more of a balmy lip color, really. And this one is in the shade Rose Petal. There we go. This is a really, really comfortable formula. It is a little bit more on the vibrant side, but it also is a formula that shears out quite well. I'm wondering if this would be a little bit more at home in my balm or gloss category. I might switch how I classify this one, but I do think I'm going to hang on to it. This one is the crushed lip color in the shade Lilac, and I actually quite like this shade here. You can tell it is right up my alley. The problem is, yeah, she smells like crayons. This one, it is old enough that it's clearly past its prime, and it's time for this one to go. Next, I have some lipsticks from Pat McGrath. First, I have this little mini. This is in the shade Divine Rose. And this one is a little bit too warm for me. However, I have already used actually quite a bit of this lipstick here. Despite the fact that it is a little bit on the warm side, it is something that I can make work. It looks actually quite a lot like this shade from the Essence line. This is the shade Special. It's very similar to the Divine Rose from Pat McGrath, except for the Divine Rose has a little bit more pink in it. I think I'm going to go ahead and hang on to this one simply because I have worked through so much of this already. It's a mini. I would like to complete it. Next, I have this one. This is in her Matte Trance formula. It's in the shade Divine Indiscretion. This is a really beautiful lipstick. Again, you can tell this is definitely right up my alley. It's a little bit on the deeper side, but I really, really do like this shade. I really enjoy this, particularly in the fall and the winter. It's a very comfortable matte formula. Really enjoy it. Gonna hang on to that one. And then I have two Satin Allure lipsticks from Pat McGrath. This one is in Veiled Rose, and this one is in Negligee. Both of them are part of the Bridgerton collab from way back. This one has seen better days. I'm pretty sure this is the one my son got a hold of and rolled up inside the cap. I think you can tell the disaster that occurred there. That's why she's looking in such bad shape. I really do enjoy this one. I prefer the ones that are on the cooler side and therefore in the blue packaging, but they are both lovely. You can tell this one is just a little cooler than this one here. I'm going to go ahead and hang on to both of these as well. Next, I have this lipstick from Hank and Henry. I don't use this one often simply because it's so pretty. I know that's a foolish reason to not use it. I've actually only used it a handful of times, but it is kind of a blue red that's not, I don't know, it's a very cherry red, which is not my favorite shade of red on myself. However, I'm going to do something foolish and I'm going to keep it anyway because the packaging is so beautiful. I know that's not the best reason to be keeping a makeup product, but so sue me, okay? I'm keeping it. Next, I have this Milani lipstick. This is from the Salt and Pepper collab that they did. It is in the shade Shoop. I have actually been working on this quite a bit this summer. I had only used it, I think, a handful of times before I rolled it into, I think it's my 50 Shades of Brown. I am continuing to work on it. I really do enjoy this lipstick. There's a lot of similarity between this one and the Pat McGrath, though the Pat McGrath is just a little bit deeper. I really enjoy this kind of pinky brown shade. Hanging on to that one as well. Now here is a little mini of the Makeup by Mario in the shade Erin. This is quite possibly my perfect nude shade in the wintertime. It is a lighter nude, but it is very much a My Lips but better. This is very similar to the natural tone of my lips. It's just a little bit more pronounced, and I really, really do enjoy this lipstick. It is something that I will consider purchasing in a full size when I complete this one. These last two are from Urban Decay. I got these in a little set. This is in the shade, let's see, Back Talk, which is a pinky nude shade. You can see that cool undertone that I really enjoy so much. This one is in the shade Callback, which is a deeper red. This is much more a shade that I enjoy wearing as opposed to this kind of really vibrant bluish cherry red here. I'm gonna hang on to both of these as well. So for my bullet lipsticks, I am decluttering 7 lipsticks. I'm going to be keeping 20 lipsticks, including little Hourglass stylo that is still in my car right now. So I am decluttering 7 and I will be keeping 20. I think of the 20, this one, and this is Smoked Purple by MAC and Rose Petal by Bobbi Brown. I could see these possibly leaving my collection at the next declutter if I'm not able to get more use out of them than I have in the last year. Next, we have my liquid lipsticks. Let's take a look at these. I do have one missing from here. That is my Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipstick in the shade Poet. The ABH formula is not my favorite formula. However, I adore that shade, that particular shade Poet, which is probably the reason I can't find it right now. It is most likely in a handbag somewhere. So that one I do not intend to declutter. We'll just pretend it's here. The other ABH liquid lipstick that I have is in the shade Sepia. This is actually not a liquid lipstick that I prefer on its own. It is a little bit too much of a grayish shade for me, but I do really enjoy mixing it in with other lip colors that I find a little bit too vibrant because it can really kind of knock that back. It does dry down very deep, so that limits some of its application, but it is useful enough to me that I'm going to go ahead and hang on to it. Here's one I feel like I can definitely let go of. This is the Jordana Sweet Cream Matte Liquid Lip Color in the shade, let's see, Creme Brulee. I have really enjoyed this over the years because, gosh, she still smells so good. It smells like vanilla and just a sweet vanilla donut or something like that. It just smells really good. This is one of those lipsticks that I would use in conjunction with another liquid lipstick that is a little bit more on the deep side to kind of give it a little bit more depth, or to do an ombre lip. However, this is Jordana, and Jordana has not existed for some time. So I think it is time to let this one go. She's old and it is time to let go. Another one that I have used for a similar purpose, and that is quite a bit newer to me, is this little Profusion Matte Lip Cream Mini in the shade Velvet. Again, not my favorite formula, but it is useful for mixing in with other shades. I'm going to keep this one in place of the Jordana one that I am decluttering. Here's one that I can definitely let go. I actually think this is currently rolled into my lip service, and I have used it. I think I've used it the number of times that I had targeted. And I just, while I do enjoy a good lip stain, I feel like this is just too warm. It doesn't look super patchy like some lip stains can, but it's just, the color is no good for me. So I'm going to go ahead and let this one go. I have a couple of other Sephora products here. These are the liquid lip stains. No, I'm sorry. This is the cream lip stain, and it's not a stain. It's just a liquid lipstick. I have used the heck out of this one here. This is one of my favorite red shades. I really enjoy it. It's still got that blue base. It's got some of that cherry undertone that I really didn't like about the Hank and Henry lipstick, but paired with kind of a darker brown lip liner, this one really does work quite well on me, and I have used quite a lot of it in that way. However, it is getting a little bit on the older side, and I have other red lipsticks that I like just as well, and in some cases better, so I don't think it's necessary for me to hang on to this one any longer. The Sephora liquid lip formula is not my favorite. I do find it to be a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit drying on the lips, and I usually end up pairing it with something a little bit more emollient just to make it more comfortable. The second one that I have here is in the shade 41. So this was the shade 96, the red that I had. This is in the shade 41. This one is quite a bit newer in my collection, and so I'm going to go ahead and hang on to this one. I actually find this shade here to be quite similar to KVD's Lolita. I used to have, I can't remember what it's called, but her red shade in this one as well. I find these two shades to be very similar. I think there's maybe a little bit more pink in the Sephora, which makes me like it a little bit more. And as uncomfortable as I do feel like the Sephora formula is, I think KVD is the worst of the lot. I feel like KVD's liquid lipsticks are the most 2015. I feel like these are just, they're very, very drying. They're like cement on the lips. And that's not usually a huge problem for me because I do tend to wear more emollient products over my liquid lipsticks. I don't tend to wear them just on their own very often. But if I'm going to have to pick between the two of these, I will pick the Sephora formula over the KVD formula. So I'm going to go ahead and let this one go. Here is the Natasha Denona liquid lipstick. I actually find this to be a pretty comfortable formula as far as liquid lipsticks go. Gosh, she's very similar to these ones too, isn't she? You know what? Those three are just very close, but this one is a little bit cooler than either of these two. You know, I think I'm going to keep the Natasha Denona, and I'm going to go ahead and declutter this other Sephora one here. I don't feel like I need both of these. And this one is just a little bit more up my alley because of that cooler undertone. Okay, I have a couple of reds here. This is the MAC Powder Kiss Liquid Lip Color. It's a very moussey liquid lipstick. It does not completely dry down to a transfer-proof finish. It is extremely long wearing, however. I find these very comfortable. And this is one of my favorite reds in my collection. I'm going to go ahead and hang on to that one. And then this is from Dose of Colors. This is in the shade Charm. This one is a little bit more on the oxblood side, just a little bit warmer than the one that I have from MAC. I actually really enjoy both of these. I don't feel like there's so much warmth in this one that I can't make it work on me, but I don't feel like I need both of them. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter the Dose of Colors. It is also getting on the older side. And when I want to reach for a red lip, between the two of these, I'm more likely to reach for the MAC. I have a couple of liquid lipsticks here from e.l.f. This one is in Wine Tour. It is a really pretty deep berry shade. I really enjoy this quite a lot. It dries down actually fairly deep, this one. I really do enjoy this liquid lipstick. I think the formula is pretty good as well. I'm going to hang on to that one. And then I have this one. This is in the shade Tea Rose. Really like this one as well. I love this color. It is this really pretty, cool, desaturated mauvey shade. A mauvey beige shade. I really like that quite a lot. This is a little bit on the lighter side for me, so I don't tend to wear this one by itself, but with the right lip liner, I just really, really enjoy this one. So I'm going to hang on to that one as well. This one here is from AOA Studios. This one is actually quite similar to the Wine Tour by e.l.f. It is just that very deep berry shade. It's just a little bit warmer of a berry shade, and so between the two of these, I'm always going to reach for the e.l.f. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one as well. Two more of the traditional liquid lipstick formulas. This one is from Ofra. It is in the shade Pasadena. I had this in my lip service project earlier, and it is, to be honest, this one is almost done. It is also that kind of cooler blue mauve shade that I really like so much. And I am almost done with this tube. We are almost out of product entirely. So because it's a mini, because I'm almost there, despite the fact that it is very similar to some of the other ones that I have here, I'm going to go ahead and hang on to this one as well. I think this one is my newest liquid lipstick. This was a gift from my husband for our anniversary this year. And this is from Pat McGrath in the shade Rose Divinity. It is one of her metallic liquid lipsticks, which I didn't think I would like, but I have ended up really, really enjoying. This is just, it reminds me a lot on the lips of my favorite lipstick of all time, which is the MAC Viva Glam 6. Obviously, the MAC Viva Glam does not have a metallic finish, but the depth and the undertone and the just perfect level of pinkiness there, they very much remind me of each other. I'm going to go ahead and hang on to this one. I really have enjoyed it quite a bit more than I thought I would, and I do find the formula to be very comfortable. I don't necessarily need to wear something else on top of this in order to make it feel comfortable on the lips. So really like this one. The last four that I have here are kind of that shiny liquid lip, the type that you shake and you apply it and don't touch your lips together, that sort of thing. I have two from Urban Decay. These two are from Maybelline. I have two colors in the Urban Decay. I have Raw Footage, which is next to my MAC here, is my other favorite red lipstick. I love the formula. I love the way this looks on the lips. The formula looks quite sheer here, but it's probably because I haven't shaken it up enough. But it is just really, really pretty red. It is so long wearing, and it is also incredibly comfortable. Really, really enjoy this one. And this one is newer to me. This is in the shade Once Strangers, and it is a really interesting kind of straight brown. I don't think I have any other lip colors in my collection that are quite like this, and I actually do really enjoy mixing the two of these on occasion. Just the combination of the red and the brown, I have really enjoyed that as well. So I'm going to hang on to both of those. These lip finals that I have here are in the same shade. This is one of my favorite lipstick colors of all time. This is the shade Witty, and the reason I have two of them is because I bought one, fell in love with it. Wish I could get a better swatch out of these formulas. I don't find them terribly sheer on the lips, just don't swatch super impressively. But this is in the shade Witty. I really, really love this shade. The reason I have two of them is because I bought one, fell in love with it, used it like crazy, lost it in, I think it fell out of my purse in the car or something like that. I was so sad without it that I went out and bought another one. So I have two of these. I love this lipstick. It is so comfortable. It is very comparable to the Urban Decay. I think that if you can find the right shade in the Maybelline, there's no need to spend the money on the Urban Decay. I think they both are just as comfortable and they last just as long. Really, really love this formula. Love this color. I'm going to keep both of those. Okay, so this is my declutter pile. I have 7 of these as well. I think that's the same number that I decluttered from my liquid, for my bullet lipsticks as well. And we are keeping, I have 12 here. Now I'm looking at this again, and this little Profusion Mini, this is not something that I wear on its own. It is definitely something that I add to other liquid lipsticks just to lighten them up a bit or to give me a little bit of an ombre on the center of the lip. But to be honest, I think that I could use this e.l.f. in the same context, but I also enjoy using this one on its own, where I don't really enjoy using the Profusion on its own. I think I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one as well and keep the e.l.f. So we are decluttering 8 and we're going to be hanging on to 11. I think that's pretty good. I'm pretty satisfied with that ratio. Okay, these are all of my lip glosses. I feel like we have the time to just really quickly go through these. This is not as overgrown a category as I expected to see here at the end of the year, because I do enjoy my lip glosses and I tend to buy them a lot. However, I finished, I think 5 products from this category over the last year. So I'm very proud of myself about that. And I managed to keep the acquisition of new lip glosses to a minimum. I think these are the only 2 that I purchased this year. I'm very proud of that. So I've been able to actually really whittle this down. And I think there's only a few products that I want to go ahead and get rid of. The first one that I do want to go ahead and get rid of is this one from Becca. This is the Becca Pearl Color Lip Tint in the shade Blackberry. This one looks like I would love it. It looks very much like my beloved Buxom Brandy. But this one actually pulls a little I don't know, a little fuchsia on my lips, almost like it has some pH adjusting in it. I don't know that it does, but it kind of gives me that sort of vibe when it goes on the lips. It also smells like watermelon candy, which is not my favorite scent in the whole world. So I have used this actually quite a bit this year, but I kind of had to force myself to use it, and I didn't really love it when I did. So I'm going to go ahead and let go of this one. Another one I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of is this NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Blueberry Tart. This is actually a blue lip gloss. I have a cool olive undertone, and because of that, a lot of things, they look very orange on my skin, and a blue mixer works so well for combating that. For my foundation, I thought that it would be useful for lip product as well. And it does work, but I think it would work a little bit better for that purpose if it was a little bit of a lighter blue and it was a little bit less pigmented. As it is, I do find that I have to be so careful with the amount of blue that I mix into those lip colors in order to get the right tone. I just don't end up reaching for it very often. It was a good idea. It just didn't completely pan out in practice. So I'm going to go ahead and let this one go as well. Then I have this one from Profusion. I think this came in a little set, a little holiday set alongside that Profusion liquid lipstick that I just decluttered as well. This is a perfectly fine lip gloss. It is not super pigmented. It's got a little bit of shimmer in there. I actually have, it smells really quite nice. I have enjoyed it, but it's a very basic gloss, and I have so many others here that I just prefer so much more that I just am not reaching for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one. Some that I am definitely keeping. First, these two new ones from Buxom. I just really, really love Buxom lip glosses. They're my favorite. The lip polish and the lip cream are my absolute favorites. I think this is the most recent purchase of mine. This is their Plump Shot, which is still good, but they have mixed a little bit of kind of the peppery lip plumping ingredient in there, which I don't love. I prefer the very minty, cool tingle of the lip polishes and the lip creams. I don't really like that kind of warmer, kind of hot, peppery plumping ingredient nearly as much. It's not super obnoxious in this one, so I'm going to keep it and I'm going to use it, but it's not my favorite. This one is my favorite. This is the lip polish in Brandy. This was upside down, so it looks like it's completely empty, but it still does have a little bit of product in there. I actually have two of these. And the other one, I'm not sure where it is. It's in a handbag or it's in the pocket of a coat or something. I do have another one that has more product than this one, but this one is almost done. This is just my favorite lip gloss of all time. I will never not repurchase. I have one more here from Buxom, and that's this one. This was originally in the shade Sugar, which was a little bit too pale and too kind of bubblegummy pink for me. So I mixed some other things into it to create a little bit of a Franken, and now I have more of this kind of cool purpley tone in it. I'm almost done with this one as well. It's really difficult to tell with Buxom lip glosses until they are just about done, like this one, because the viscosity of these lip glosses is so high. I don't find them sticky, but they are a very thick kind of plush lip gloss formula. So the formula tends to really stick to the tube, and so it gets hard to tell where you are, but if I scrape the sides, I think you can tell. So I'm going to go ahead and hang on to this one as well. Love the formula. The color is not, I don't know. I don't think it's my most successful Franken ever. But it is something that's workable, and I do really enjoy the formula, so I'm going to keep this one as well. Then I have this one. This is another Franken. This was originally, it was the Essence, I can't remember what it was called, the Essence Plumping Gloss. This was originally a clear gloss that I mixed some things into in order to create a pretty darn near perfect shade for me, to be honest. I really actually do enjoy this Franken quite a lot more than this one. This lip gloss I do really enjoy, but when I first talked to you guys about this one at the beginning of the year, I mentioned that this one was more of a cooling plumper, and it is. But after having worn it more, I realized it does have some of that peppery ingredient. Again, it's not an obnoxious amount, and I actually think it has less than the Buxom Plump Shot. It's almost like the first sensation is a cooling sensation, and only after a while do you start to pick up kind of that warmer peppery tingle kind of on the back end. It's kind of like an aftertaste, but it's a sensation, not a taste, you know? So it's not terribly obnoxious, but it's just not my favorite thing ever. So I'm going to go ahead and use this up, but I don't believe I will be repurchasing this formula. Here is one that I'm definitely hanging on to. This is the Clinique Almost Lipstick in the shade Black Honey. I just love this shade. I've now had the Black Honey shade in, I want to say 3 different formulas, and this is probably my least favorite formula for this color. I just find these Almost lipsticks, despite the fact that they're quite balmy, I find them to be drying. I just really do. Have you ever like worn a lip balm that, I don't, felt balmy and emollient going on, but somehow still left your lips feeling dry by the time it was worn off? That's how I feel about this one. I also do have the Clinique Creamy Lip Gloss in the shade Black Honey here, and I prefer this as a formula, but I do find the color a little bit different, just a hair. I feel like there's just a little bit more berry in the Almost lipstick than there is in the lip gloss, despite the fact that they are both called Black Honey. My favorite formulation of the Black Honey was they released a few years back a limited holiday edition of their Chubby Sticks that was in the shade Black Honey. I found that one so much more moisturizing and comfortable than the Almost lipstick, and more true to color than the lip gloss. That was my favorite incarnation of Black Honey, but unfortunately it's not part of their permanent lineup, and I finished that Chubby Stick earlier this year, so it's no longer in my collection. I'm gonna go ahead and keep both of these. But to be honest, despite the fact that I like the Black Honey color so much, I don't know if it will end up being a repurchase. While I was trying to find some dupes for Black Honey, I ended up with these 2 Palladio lip balms in the shade Brownie. These are actually a fairly decent dupe for Black Honey, a little bit less pigmented, but the color, I feel like of all the dupes that I tried, the color isn't spot on. It's not 100% the same as Black Honey in the Almost lipstick formula, but it is the closest one that I could find of all of the different dupes that I found online. However, I don't need 2 of these. I can't quite remember how I ended up with both. I don't know which one is newer either. Oh, I see. Okay, this is the one we're going to declutter, because apparently this is the one that one of my children got a hold of and rolled up in the tube. So that's no longer useful to me. I'm going to go ahead and declutter that, and we'll go ahead and keep this one. Next, I have this lip gloss by Fenty. This is the Cream Gloss Balm in the shade Fenty Glow. I bought this mostly just because I wanted to know what all the fuss was about, and it's fine. As a gloss, it's fine. It's a good gloss. It's a very comfortable gloss. It's not sticky. The shade is pretty. I just don't know if it was worth all the fuss. So I'm going to keep this one and go through it, but I don't believe it will be a repurchase. Then I have this one. This is the Pat McGrath Divine Rose. This came in a little set with the Divine Rose lipstick mini that I also have. And this one is actually really pretty. I actually prefer this lip gloss version of the Divine Rose over the lipstick. I feel like the lipstick pulls just a tiny bit warmer on me. And so I find this gloss to be just a little bit more flattering on my skin tone. So I'm going to hang on to that one. Then I have this one. This is the NARS Laguna Lip Balm something something. This is a very nothing gloss, to be honest. You can see a little bit of color there, just a smidge, but it really does not show up on the lips all that much. However, I have so little product left in there that I'm going to go ahead and keep this and try to finish it up. It is not a bad gloss. It's just nothing that I would spend NARS money on, because the pigmentation is so low. I don't find that there's anything especially remarkable about the formula. So yeah, I definitely would not pay out for a full size. Next, I have this gloss from Juvia's Place. This is in the shade Brown Sugar. This is part of my 50 Shades of Brown project pan. This is the brownest gloss that I have ever come across in my life. This is definitely not something that I tend to wear on its own. I generally tend to mix it with other glosses or other lip products that I find I want to tweak a little bit. So I don't use a ton of it at a time. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this. There's quite a lot of product in here. But yeah, I really like this gloss. It is very comfortable. It smells really nice. It's not sticky or goopy. It lasts a decently long time for a gloss. Yeah, I enjoy this one. Next, I have my Hard Candy Plumping Serum in the shade, what is the shade? Love Child. This is a really pretty sheer cool pink. I really actually quite enjoy this one, but I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit on the old side at this point, and it's starting to smell a little off. And so I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one. Finally, we have the Moira Glow Getter Hydrating Lip Oil. This is in the shade Berry Berry. I picked this up at the end of last year just because I had not actually tried a lip oil, and I don't know how representative this is of a lip oil, but it's just a gloss. I don't find there to be anything oil-like about this at all, which was, I don't know, maybe a little disappointing. I just, yeah, it's a gloss. It's a nice gloss, but it's just a gloss. I do enjoy the shade, and it is newer in my collection, so I'm going to go ahead and hang on to this one. All in all, we are decluttering 5 lip glosses, and we are keeping 14 lip glosses, including the tube of Buxom Brandy that I cannot find right now. So decluttering 5, keeping 14. I'm happy with that as well, especially given the number of lip glosses I was able to finish this year. Combined with what I'm decluttering, that's quite a lot of lip gloss moving out of my collection. So I am happy with that. And that is it. That is it for my lip products. I still have to go through my lip liners, but I think I'm going to lump those in with my eyeliners and other slim stick products. So thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.